Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Collider Games channel. My name is Dennis Den. I'm here with...
Hey, it's Greg Smith. Good to see you.
Yeah, and we're here to talk about the PlayStation 5 reveal event. Got delayed from last week. It just happened right now. It was about an hour 15, hour 20 in total length. Right now I think would have been the last day of what was supposed to be E3
Yeah.
this year. Sony wasn't going to come to E3 anyways, and they were going to have their own event. So I guess they decided to just have it near the same time anyways. Give me your overall impressions and reactions to the event itself, the design of the console, and the games that they announced.
Yeah, overall, I was very impressed, in particular by the number of original titles shown off in the preview. Obviously the big kind of showy moments, the moments that make me gasp are going to be like the Resident Evil surprise reveal or the new Little Big Planet entry. That stuff is really fun, but it really felt like they were making a statement with all of these very original, creative-looking new properties that they're letting kind of developers, it would seem, have carte blanche doing with like different styles and stuff like that. That's really what impresses and inspires me the most about the console's future. And the design, it's so interesting. The dual tone look is like something they're really leaning into. When I first saw the controller with like the white on black, it kind of bumped me a little bit because it felt a little not quite uniform by design, obviously. But to see that they're just like committing to it wholeheartedly with the console, it's a design choice I'm gonna have to get used to be honest. But I dig that it like forks out to a V, which is Roman numeral for 5. It's a sneaky little design.
And then overall, yeah, you liked the games and the everything that was announced. Was there anything that you were kind of looking forward to or expecting that didn't get announced?
Ooh, good question. I think it would have been cool to have a new open world Rockstar game. Opening with like a GTA 5 expanded version is fun, but is there a new GTA or a new Red Dead that they could have been putting their eggs into? That would have been something I would have loved. My favorite Sony franchise is Parappa the Rapper, and he's not like a triple A tier reveal splashy showcase, but oof, a PS5 Parappa revival would be music to my ears.
I mean, overall for me, I thought the event was good, but not great. I do think when you're doing this online only event, an hour 15, hour 20 is a bit too long when you're not intercutting with an actual audience and a stage and presenters, because this was all baked in. They had it all ready for last week. They just couldn't do it last week. And so an hour 15 just seems a lot longer than when you have that kind of live feel to it. I wish it was a little more reduced. The games, I have to admit, like, I'm not a huge, like, I have a PS4, but I only got it recently. I had a PS3, but I got it towards the ends of the cycle. So I'm not too familiar with all of the Sony exclusives. Other than like Last of Us, Spider-Man, Uncharted.
Yeah. How about that Miles Morales reveal? Oof.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest reveal, and then probably I think is going to be the system seller for them, because one, I didn't think they were going to announce it and show footage. I thought maybe they'd be like, okay, this is coming out next year or whatever, but they're saying holiday 2020 of this year. And it looks really good. It looks really good. People have been clamoring for a Miles Morales version with the, Into the Spider-Verse and how well that did at the box office and in general. I think that's going to be the one that people are going to be like, all right, I'm going to buy a PS5 for. There was a lot of games. I did notice there was kind of and maybe because there were a good amount of indie games in there, kind of a abundance of kind of platformers, whether 2D or 3D platformers with, obviously their own artistic choices, which are cool, but obviously not really testing the limits of of what the PS5 system would be, which usually in the early goings on of a console generation, you don't get to see that huge leap yet. Where I just finished playing The Last of Us remastered on the PS4. Now, granted, it is a remaster from the PS3 version, but when you look at that and you look at Last of Us Part 2, which is coming out in a week, it looks like night and day. You know what I mean? Like you can really see that generation change. Stuff like Gran Turismo 7. I'm not really into racing games. Like I said, there's a lot of like platformers. Some newer stuff that kind of like look cool to me, but I don't know because they're brand new franchises. Stuff like what was that, Pragmata? That was the guy in the spacesuit in Times Square with a girl.
Yeah. It looked a little like, it kind of reminded me both of like Inception and the sort of reality shattering of it all, and then a little bit of Gravity, like when they're sort of being pulled up into space and having to get back to Earth. That looked really intriguing.
Yeah, so games like that, I know they had Returnal. Do you remember that one? It was like the lady that I guess apparently goes on an endless loop as she crashes and the planet changes. So these are like, very cinematic looking games. We haven't That one actually did show a little gameplay footage as well, because most of them did not.
It was interesting. It was a wild choice to me to show two time loop based games. Mm-hmm. With that one and with I think it's called Deathloop. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that's a trope I feel like we're seeing a lot of, not just in video games but in movies and TV these days. And to kind of front load with two in a row, they both look like really fun, interesting, different takes on the genre, but it's a very specific one to see two of for me.
Yeah, I do think Deathloop is probably not an exclusive, because I remember that being announced at Bethesda. Last year, 2 years. I can't remember. I think it was last year.
Yeah, last
year's E3. That and Ghostwire, I think those are probably multi-platform. I think Returnal is probably exclusive. I'm not sure about that game Stray, where you play as like a cat in the cyberpunk world.
I'm into that. I can't wait for that.
There was that game Project Athea that was very cool looking, from Square Enix. I also don't know if that's exclusive or not.
I thought it said designed specifically for the PlayStation 5 or something like that at the end.
Okay. Yeah, that one looked interesting. Yeah, the NBA 2K footage, which was like, it looked good, but it's like it's not gameplay footage. Yeah. And then, it's a pre-alpha footage of Zion Williamson, and when it closed up, it looked realistic. But when you're playing the game, you're seeing most of the backs of backs of players. So
that's true. I'm just going to be excited when they finally announce a new NBA Jam. When's it coming, PS5? Give it to me.
Yeah. I never played this game. A lot of people highly recommend it, which is Horizon Zero Dawn. They had the sequel, Horizon Forbidden West, which I think got a big pop, at least in the chat rooms.
Yeah, it got a big pop on the Collider Slack too. That's an acclaimed game that I've just heard nothing but phenomenal things about, that I've never played either. But I was really, you used the word cinematic earlier. This one really felt like a movie to me, and it felt like that main character is a journey I want to follow. So it was really intriguing.
Oh, I forgot to mention the design. Okay, so the design of the PS5. I actually like it. I think it looks cool. It looks better than the Xbox Series X design.
Yeah.
But like I mentioned even before this in many podcasts, the design of a console doesn't really matter, because once you put it in your space, and I don't know with the PS5, because they only shown it upright, whether it can go horizontal and vertical, because I know the issue with the Xbox One was that it could only go one way. Like as soon as you turned it vertical, like games wouldn't play.
Wow.
Well, disc games, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was an issue. So yeah, I just feel like was that Xbox One or Xbox 360? I can't remember. One of those two. Like where going horizontal and vertical, it just it made a difference. But I like the design, but ultimately that's not how people, at least I don't know. It's because a console isn't like a mobile thing, right? Like you got a
Except
mobile
for the
phone,
Switch.
yeah. But if you get a mobile phone or you got headphones or you got like I know the design aesthetic is very important for people because you're going out and about and people, where a console for me just it's there in the corner.
Yeah, it's more. You bring up an interesting point about practicality, though. The footage they showed of the design, like you say, it was in a very vertical, very like ostentatious, show-offy, look at the
Hmm.
V kind of thing. And I tend to, especially with, I tend to prefer my consoles horizontal, and I tend to
Me
prefer
too.
them sort of hidden under the TV. So, like you say, you just put the game in and forget about it. This almost like demands to be looked at the way it's like just jutting up. I hope that with the kind of forked V, it can live a little more subtly under your TV because I don't know if I need a new conversation piece in my living room.
I don't know if you've ever seen, but it reminded me of Alienware desktops, that
It
kind of
did, yeah,
style.
absolutely.
Um, they also highlight some accessories like headphones, an HD camera, their controller charging station.
A
Yeah,
media remote.
yeah. The digital only version makes sense. Xbox is planning on doing that as well. They already had the Xbox One S version that was a lot cheaper. I mean, to get the prices down. Speaking of price, they didn't announce a price.
They very notably didn't. I wonder if
Yeah,
they're still. I wonder
trying
if
to
there's
get it
any
down.
internal. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, and then like I have a feeling that both for Xbox and the PS5 that the disc version is more expensive than that 399. Like
Has to be. Yeah.
that's probably like the 499 or at least 449 price range.
I would guess that's going to be the lower end. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to make us pay $600 or $700.
Really?
Yeah,
It
I
just
would.
won't fly. It
I
won't be
know, but I
flying,
wouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised.
especially not in this economic climate.
Yeah.
Maybe they had original higher price before and they're like, "Oh man, we're going to have to take this down."
Yeah, maybe. They also didn't mention sort of controversial how backwards compatible is it going to be of it all. I feel like
Yeah.
the figure keeps they keep adjusting the goalpost a little bit.
Yeah, I do know Xbox is focusing more. It has always in its history focused
Yeah.
more on backwards compatibility than the the PlayStation. So, yeah, still no price. So I would imagine I'm gonna guess digital only version is 399. I think they need to hit that 399 price point, and the disc version is I don't know 499. So it's like you
I,
got that choice.
I think if those are the two price points, I will breathe a sigh of relief.
Hmm.
For whatever reason, I'm a little less hopeful. I'm a little like they're gonna try and go for it a little more.
I yeah. I would still probably buy the discs version just because I have a bunch of Blu-rays
Yep,
plus
me
older
too.
games, all that stuff. So I feel like I still would want that disc version, even though it's probably going to be like $100 more.
I agree, definitely. And I especially, hopefully they have the whatever kind of cloud-based technology they're using for the digital version to make sure all the games run smoothly as possible. But I just feel like the discs are still, at least launch date speaking, they're going to give you the cleanest version of the games possible to start.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Any last thoughts or any other game highlights or lowlights for you? I did notice at some ports and this happens too with the live events. Some people were getting a little bored in the chat, and like I said, the non-live aspect of it probably didn't help.
Yeah. Um, a big highlight for me, speaking to the kind of it feels like an auteur-driven console
Hmm.
on launch, like letting developers do what they want. I'm blanking on the name of it. Goodbye Something High.
Oh yeah, Goodbye Volcano High,
I loved that
the
trailer.
2D animated.
Yeah, the art style was so cool, and I loved the voiceover. I loved that it was like a high school coming of age story.
Hmm.
I loved how emotion driven it seemed to be, and it really some of my issues with kind of current gen video game AAA titles are how focused they are on like the big, broad, graphics driven spectacle.
Mhm.
We got a lot of that in this, which was fun and appreciated, but I also appreciated that they gave room for these smaller scale human stories. And I think it shows that the PS5 could be like a really big, broad, all encompassing console. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. Um, what was that one? I felt bad for that one company. They made that game, Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, because the
Mm.
stream started to stutter. They,
Yes, it
they
did.
the studio comes out and they're like, "We're a very small studio," and then it froze on them for about like, I don't know, 45 seconds to a minute, and then
Yeah.
it just like jumps into the gameplay. So it just really didn't. It reminded me of like Kubo and the Two Strings, kind of like that kind
Hmm.
of style to it. So yeah, I felt bad for them, but
Yeah, me too. I hope they're starting to release like the official trailers now, right?
yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, overall, I think a good event. I don't think without a like price point, I think, and also maybe dropping a few more, with Last of Us Part Two just coming out, so obviously, you know, we don't know how close a next Uncharted would be. Doing the Spider-Man, I think, is a big deal. The Horizon Zero Dawn
Yep.
sequel was a big deal. So, yeah, overall impressed, but not like blown away.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to be. It felt really solid to me.
Mhm. Yeah. All right, Greg, where can people find you besides writing articles for the Collider.com website? Where can people find you online?
Yeah, sure. On social media, Twitter, Instagram, Smith L. Greg.
Mhm.
Anywhere you find internet stuff.
Cool. And yeah, and you'll be popping in on some of these Collider Games videos, whether
Yeah, sure.
podcasts or reaction stuff. And
Whenever you want me, I'm here, Dennis.
cool. And you guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, Instagram, Dennis.tzng. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Collider Games. Also, we have our podcast, which is on the Games channel and also on the Collider Factory podcast feed. You can subscribe there. That's every single week. And tomorrow we have another podcast, and we're going to go more in depth with the PS5 event reveal. And then also Last of Us Part 2. The launch trailer came out, plus reviews. The reviews embargoes are going to be up tomorrow, so people are going to be talking about that all day. All right, until next time, see you guys later.
Bye.